Excuse me? Oh, my tail and whiskers. I do apologize. I had no intention of frightening you. Do forgive me, my dear. I am so sorry. I just happened to stumble upon you, and you looked rather lost. So, I thought I would offer to help you if you are indeed lost. Am I wrong in my assumption? Oh, you are lost. Oh dear. Oh, my tail and whiskers, that is frightfully unfortunate. Well, I suppose I have enough time to help you find your way out of the forest. I shouldn't be too late. Where was it exactly that you were trying to find? Oh, I know just the way. If you'd like to follow me. You know, it is rather fortunate that we crossed paths when we did. I was just on my way home, and, well, I have a very important date to keep, you see, but I can never leave a stranded individual to wander lost on their own. Whatever brought you out here in the first place? Curiosity, you say? You? An adventurous sort, are you? How curious. Oh, why, yes, I am a rabbit, as it happens. I suppose you haven't seen anything quite like me before. I don't encounter many people here in the forest very often, but when I do, it is very commonly that I hear that I am not a creature that you are very familiar encountering. But where I come from, I promise you, I am very, very much within the normal scope of, well, everything in the world, quite frankly. Most everyone is mad where I come from. Even yourself, I suppose, would be mad enough to see my homeland? Well, you must be. To be able to see me, you have to be a little mad in the first place. Oh, come now, my dear. It's not a bad thing. I am not insulting you by calling you mad. Why, the greatest people you can ever think of were just a little bit mad. There is a very fine line between madness and brilliance. The most brilliant minds are always teetering on the edge of complete madness. Just think about your flying machines. What do you call those things? Ah, yes, aeroplanes. That must have been a very brilliant individual to create those, don't you think? Someone just mad enough to think that your kind belongs up in the skies. A way to traverse great oceans without the risk of getting wet. A very brilliant mind, teetering on the little bit of madness. And of course, when you sent a manned craft to your moon, that would have taken very brilliant minds, with just a hint of madness behind them. I mean, what was that even for? What is on the moon that it could promise you any sort of progression? There's no atmosphere on the moon. There's no chance of living there. And most of the things you can find in moon rocks come in earth rocks anyway. So what was it all about? Simply to prove a point, wasn't it? Who had the most powerful rockets? Rockets that would carry very powerful weapons. The mind of a mad, evil genius. Well, having a weapon that strong that it could wipe out an entire area of land for decades, maybe even centuries. Wouldn't you consider that to be just a little bit evil? But then again, some would argue to be a necessary evil. Why give your enemy the opportunity to rebuild? Make the area that they once called home uninhabitable for an undeterminable amount of years. That way, they can't simply rebuild and become more powerful to retaliate, can they? You see, good and evil is all very relative, isn't it? What one person finds evil, another finds the natural order. Oh, yes, of course, there are evil entities in all walks of life. Entities who have no regard or care for others around them are generally considered evil, are they not? In fact, it's a rather curious thing, isn't it? Well, I mean, evil, on paper, looks like it should always win. Evil does not require any sort of compassion, self-sacrifice, teamwork, reliance on other individuals to play their part. Even love is not always a given in victory. And yet, somehow, good always prevails over evil, despite being the complete logistical underdog. Curiouser and curiouser, is it not? So if evil should be the more powerful force, why is there always this constant power struggle where good typically prevails over the evil? Of course, it's all very well and good just saying that good prevails over evil, but like the Jabberwocky, every time you remove a head, another one regrows, which is far more evil than the other. What's a Jabberwocky? Oh, my tail and whiskers. Do you mean to say you have never heard of the Jabberwocky? Oh, my dear. The Jabberwocky was the most fearsome creature in all of Wonderland. Oh, my tail and whiskers. I believe I might have spoken the name of my homeland. Oh, bother. Yes, I called it Underland. I'm sorry. What did you just say? Where the devil is Wonderland? Alice? Who the fluff is Alice? Oh, my dear, I have never encountered anyone with that name. Or, if I did, I never thought to ask their name. Oh, my tail and whiskers, I have just discovered I have made the most awfully rude blunder. I've been offering to take you home, and I haven't even learned your name. Ah, I see. Well, charmed to make your acquaintance. When I return to Underland, I shall be sure to tell the Jack of Hearts about you. You do seem a rather curious individual. I'm sure he would be very interested to learn of you. Have you never heard of the Jack of Hearts either? Oh, my tail and whiskers. For a curious individual, you seem not to be very well educated, do you? Again, I am not saying you are of bad learning. Just that you have not been learned in the correct senses, if you will. Well, there used to be a time where I would come up from Underland and I would encounter individuals like yourself who would be very well versed in my customs. It seems that over time you have rather strayed from your old ways, which I must say I can understand. We cannot simply stand stagnant in our ways. We must progress. We must always strive to be better than what we were before. But at the same time, it does rather make me a little sad that our connection has been so unceremoniously discarded. The Mad Hatter would often come back to Underland to beguile us with tales of his extravagant parties with your folk. And the Cheshire Cat would very commonly come up here to cause some mischief. Of course, I keep talking about these individuals as if you have any clue what I'm talking about. But I suppose it is natural for your kind to be curious. Have you ever noticed things moving in your peripheral vision? Things that grab your attention just as they move away from where you are, and as soon as you turn to look at them, they're just gone, vanished without a trace. Or have you ever noticed a noise that you have never heard before, but every once in a while it sounds so familiar and out of place at the same time? Those noises, my dear, and those little visions in the corner of your eye, you might very well have encountered my kind on more than one occasion. How often would you say that these occurrences happen? As frequently as that, you say? Curiouser and curiouser. It seems you have a very strong connection with your ancestors' old ways. In fact, I wonder. Oh, never mind me, just pondering is all. Ah, here we go. This is the edge of the forest. You should be able to find your way home from here. Oh, my tail and whiskers, I'm late. Oh. Oh dear, I had hoped that I could potentially ask you if you would be interested in one day coming to Underland and perhaps meeting the Jack of Hearts and the Mad Hatter and you... You would? You would like to come to Underland and... Oh, my tail and whiskers, I find myself all in a fluster. This is splendid news. I had somewhat expected you to just perceive me to be a mad hallucination. Huh? Do you wish to come with me to Underland? Now? Immediately? This very moment? Oh, but I have brought you to the edge of the forest to... Oh, my tail and whiskers, you all right? I am very late, and it is a rather important date I'm late for. Oh, fine, you've twisted my ear. I must insist that we must make our way with the utmost of haste. I cannot be much later than I already am. This way. I will show you the back door to Underland.